Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Jesse McCartney. I'm here to answer some of y'all's questions. I know you guys wrote into the station, and I'm really excited to always answer everybody's questions. You know, I know there's a lot of people out there that are curious about some things, so let's get into it. I got a question here from Ashley from Omaha, Nebraska. She said, "Who are some of your musical influences?" You know, I grew up listening to a lot of soul music when I was a kid. You know, going through my parents' record collection. They listened to artists like Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles and Michael Jackson, B.B. King, just a lot of Aretha Franklin. I mean, it was a good collection of soul music, and that's what they listened to. So I kind of, you know, I was sort of forced to listen to that when I was a young kid, and then sort of found my own tastes in music as well. But they always had a slightly more R&B feel. I got a question from Amy from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. She said, "Do you like being a solo artist better than being in a group?" And the answer is yes. Ultimately, you know, it's fun to be in a group, and you know, you always have a few other guys to fall back on. But you know, as a solo artist, I do feel like I have the most creative control, and nothing gets lost. I can always make sure that my message gets across, and that it's pointed, and that it's never diluted. So, yeah, solo artist. Allie from Philly, Pennsylvania, asked me, "How did you get involved in Summerland or being on the show? Did you enjoy it?" And of course, I mean, you know, when I booked Summerland, for all you guys who don't know, was a TV show that was on for 2 seasons on the WB before it became the CW about 5 years ago. And that's the reason I moved to LA was to shoot the pilot for this TV show. And you know, what wasn't there to enjoy? You know, I got to shoot on the beaches of Malibu and Leo Carrillo in sunny California. You know, growing up in New York, it was like a dream come true. Moving out to LA and getting to work with some amazing people. I enjoyed every second of it, and I still keep in touch with all the castmates. Taylor Cole, who's now got a big show, The Event. Kay Panabaker's also on a TV show. Everyone seems to be doing really well. Ryan Quanten's on True Blood. Lori Loughlin's doing. So everyone seemed to be doing really well after you know, the end of Summerland. Let's see. Catherine from Eau Claire said, "Do you think you'll ever go back into acting? If you do, what actor would you like to work with?" That's a good question. You know, for me right now, the music has sort of taken the front seat of my career, and I have a new album coming out either at the end of this year or beginning really early January. So it's hard for me to do anything on the acting front right now, but I certainly haven't given up by any means on the acting bit. You know, for me, I've always enjoyed entertaining through whichever outlet, whether it was acting or writing or singing, and you know, I plan on going back there as soon as this album is complete. If I could work with any other actor, I'd love to work with Philip Seymour Hoffman. He's one of my absolute favorites. If I really had it, if I really had my way, he's no longer living, but Marlon Brando is one of my favorite actors, and it would have been amazing to have, you know, made a film with him. Let's see. James from Evansville asked, "How has your music evolved from Beautiful Soul?" That's another question coming in. James from Evansville said, how has your music evolved from Beautiful Soul to now?" And to answer that, I mean, it's evolved a lot. You know, for me, early on in my career, a lot of my music was written on a guitar, solely on a guitar, and it was a bit more pop-oriented melodically. And now, you know, I'm about ready to put out my 4th album, and I've come a long way. I sort of went through a little pop-rock phase, and now I'm more into the R&B tip, which, again, is kind of what I grew up listening to. My whole life I've been influenced by R&B music and soul music, and the greatest artists that ever lived, in my opinion, were soul singers. And for me, I wanted to sort of make an album that was a reflection of my youth and what I grew up listening to. And so this record, you'll hear, and has evolved into a very rhythmic R&B and sort of almost urban sound you know, which is a big stretch and a far, you know, I've come a long way since Beautiful Soul. You'll be able to hear it. Adam from Birmingham, Alabama says, do you write your own music, and what inspires you to write? Yes, I do write my own music. A lot of times I write with other people, sometimes I don't, and as far as inspiration, you never know when it's going to happen or where it's going to come from. I like to draw inspiration from real-life experience and write about what I know. It seems to be, or make at least the most honest writing. But, you know, you never know where you're going to be or what you're going to think of. Sometimes it's a lyric, you know, sometimes it's a concept for a song. Sometimes it's a melody, and that's why I always have my BlackBerry on me. I just carry it around and I sing little voice notes into my phone. I have hundreds of files of different ideas. Robin from Missoula asks, what artists would you like to collaborate with? I mean, there's many, you know. If we're talking about right now, you know, I'd love to do some stuff with Katy Perry. I know we've talked about it in the past. It'd be fun to do some stuff with T.I. He's one of my favorite rappers. I mean, there's so many artists, so many talented people out there that I would love to collaborate with. And you know, when you're working with talented people, it's always creative and it's always fun, you know. And everybody has their own style, and it just makes for fun music and fun for the listener. Let's see. Christina from Orlando, Florida just asked, you've covered so much in your career already, what else would you like to accomplish? I'd like to become a really good golfer. I've been playing for a year and a half, and I just about 8 months ago broke 100, which is kind of a landmark in golf. I mean, it's a big, you know, it's big when you can break 100. And then about 3-4 months ago, I shot an 84, which is my best score yet. But I'm not gonna have much time to play now that I'm on the road. You know, when I was home making the album, I was golfing by day and I was in the studio at night. That and becoming an amazing chef. I'd love to. My dad was a really great cook, and I'm pretty good now, but I'd like to get better. Let's see. Kim from Tucson, Arizona says, what kinds of things do you like to do for fun? Well, golf is one of them, and cooking. I love water sports. I'm a big water skier and wakeboarder. I love watching sports too. During football season, every Sunday, I'll be on the couch watching the New York Giants and the Jets, and just basking in football season. Man, that was Kim from Tucson. What's up, U of A? Dana from Baton Rouge. Do you have a favorite concert you've performed so far? One of the most memorable concerts I can say was on my very first tour. Was either in 2004 or 5. It was in Chicago, in Chi-Town, and I was there. I was supposed to make an appearance at a mall to sing a couple of songs acoustically, and they expected, I think, like 800 to 1,000 people to show up, and over 8,000 people showed up to the mall, and they didn't have like the proper security, and they decided that they would walk me out to the stage, but the only way to get to the stage was to walk through the crowd, a sea of people. So I had a barricade of security guards. Like, I was standing in the middle, and there was 8 people around me, and we were walking through this epic crowd, and there's like a topical view or shot of just this, like the sea splitting, and me walking through the center, and it was pretty epic, and certainly one of the most memorable shows I had ever played, and early on in my career, so I was just completely overwhelmed. Kelly from Lebanon says, how is your relationship with your fans? I'd like to think it's great, you know. I really owe my entire career to them. They followed me for some of them followed me for over a decade at this point, and you know, I truly couldn't have done it without them, and still can't. You know, they're the reason I can do this for a living, and I love you guys. I mean, you guys are the best. And now that I'm on Twitter, I know you guys have been checking my tweets. And just to prove, by the way, that I am on Twitter, there it is. You can see my little Twitter icon, and that's me. I tweet all the time. Look, there was my last Twitter was, hey, I'm performing at Q102 Philly. You can see it right there. But yeah, I'm on Twitter and Facebook, and I think at this point, you know, it's the best way to kind of communicate one-on-one with your fans, which I think is really important. Jackie from Detroit, Michigan, asked, "What advice do you have for young singers or actors?" And all I can say is, you know, it's if you're in it for the long run and you really want to work hard, you know, then great. If you're a really fragile person, and if you are not up for the brutal hours and schedules that they throw at you, then it's probably not for you, and that's just being honest. You will lose more than you will win, and you have to be able to face rejection with poise. But overall, if you really want it, truly, then it's probably one of them. I can't imagine a job that's any more fun. It really is an amazing time. Let's see. Julia from Chattanooga says, "What is your favorite song to perform?" That's such a tough question. It's probably not even one of my songs. I love performing Stevie Wonder songs. Knocks me off my feet. I remember I performed that song at the Grammy. It was a Grammy tribute award show about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe a little less, and Stevie Wonder was in the front row, and each artist that came on stage had to sing one of his songs with this amazing, like, 15-piece band, and there he was, one of my biggest influences, sitting in the front row watching me perform one of his songs. It was completely surreal, and he came backstage and introduced himself and said that he loved the performance, and it was just, I still can't believe it. Certainly one of my favorite performances, and still I love performing his records. He's amazing. Chrissy from Lebanon says, "What was your favorite, or what was your inspiration on the new album, and what does it mean to you?" And Chrissy, to answer your question, you know, this album is, like I said, a little bit of a continuation from my last album, Departure, which came out in 2008. And, you know, there's sort of an underlying theme, which is I don't really know what to do with a relationship. I'm still kind of figuring it out. I'm 23, and as much as I know what it's like to be in a relationship and really care about somebody, I don't necessarily know how to balance it really well, being that I have this career, and it's something that I've struggled with, and you'll hear a lot of that on the record. And you'll also hear a lot of fun songs about, you know, going out and meeting new people and having a good time. And it all sort of comes together in a nice little cohesive 11-song album, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Who is your celebrity crush? And that comes from Kelsey from Amarillo, Texas. And Kelsey says, who's your celebrity crush? She says, or I'm saying, my celebrity crush is probably, it's hard to say. I love Katy Perry. She knows that. She knows it. I tell her all the time. And I love, who else do I love? I'm a big fan of, I'm forgetting her name. Her name is Carrie something. You guys will know who I'm talking about because I'm going to tell you where you've seen her. She was in An Education. Oh, Carrie Mulligan. I think she's awesome. I think she's dating Shia LaBeouf. Good for him. She's a cool girl, and I'm a big fan of her work. Thank you, Kelsey from Amarillo, and thank you to all the fans who sent in all of these questions. I wish I could get to all of them, but keep sending them in, and hit me up on Twitter at Jesse McCartney, and hit me up on Facebook, and follow me and ask me anything you'd like. I'm going to try and get back to as many of you as I can. Thank you so much. I want to thank Q102, the radio station, and everybody for all your support. I'll see you guys soon. Ciao.
Sweet. Can I ask you to do me one favor?
Yeah.